things are. I mean, I think I've indicated, I've gone through it, I have some things, you know, that I've identified based on my experience that would certainly need to be changed. That way we are as informed as the residents who've been coming to these meetings are informed, because we've gone through it and we can have a more meaningful dialogue if we have digested and understand what they are seeing.
So you would agree then to go ahead and also, besides getting the survey set up, also have a training session set up? Lee?
I'm listening to the comments.
But Keith, can I clarify, so you're saying have a training meeting with someone from PA Southwest Legal Services?
If we can set up and the information they would need to evaluate can be given to them, and then with that information, they then meet with us to inform and suggest corrections and whatever, and it's not gonna cost the township or our taxpayers anything, yes, I would like to do that.
Okay, well, I'm just figuring out if I write the motion. right.
But if it has to go through, you know, setting up a costly deal at this point, again, before the survey's done, then I agree with some comments made here, I don't think it
Okay,
is.
so you're revising your motion basically then?
Keith, before you revise your motion, suggestion. I think Lee had a good point. No sense putting the cart ahead of the horse if you're not gonna buy the cart. You can just ride the horse. Is there some urgent deadline or some sense of urgency, timeline-wise, that you need to have that? You know what I'm saying? 'Cause
No,
you
no
could
one's throwing any days at me, or,
do the survey,
it just.
get your answer,
The time
then
keeps
move on.
clicking, time is moving on, and a lot of time has already been invested from other sources up to this point.
But that's not
And
your
I'm
fault.
certain that some of you sitting there are far more up to date on the whole plan than I am, I'll speak for myself.
But that is not your fault as a planning commission, and it is not our fault. It's how things were conducted prior to this, which we're trying to get past and do it the right way. So, the whole problem is, you're talking about not adopting, but they presented you with this, say, okay? And how it should have been done from the beginning, you guys should have had it from the beginning and done it yourselves. Not like, okay, here's what we want, this is what we want you to do, now take it and make it your own. You know what I'm saying? So if we had done it this way to begin with, as we suggested, and there wouldn't have been that time lapse, you know?
What he's saying is if the survey comes back and everybody says, you get more people that say they want zoning than don't, then he's saying, put your own plan together with what's already been done, you can add to it, subtract from it, and then call these people in and say, hey, this is what we're thinking, what's legal, what's not.
Well, that's a waste of time, though. You want them to come in right off the bat, that way you can get it right the first time.
Well, or come in while it's doing it, you know what I mean, but they're still gonna have to put.
Well,
their own-
Jody, even when Jody first made some comments back a few months ago, she told us that there's things that obviously has to be changed. And
Right.
now Tammy's reiterated the same,
Well,
and
I'm just trying to clarify what he was saying, but.
If it's gonna not cost nothing, I can't see the hurt of it. I mean, let them, I mean,
Yeah, well,
I agree with you guys, I like it. Let's just get it going, get the survey out there.
let's go down the line then. Tony, thoughts?
Yeah, I go for it as long as everybody's on the same track, you know, they understand what they're voting for, yes or no, that's all.
Okay,
You're
no,
going
we're
out-
going
you're
to
going
do
out
the
there
survey, I'm talking about,
with,
is
700 more people.
it time effective?
It is,
For us to be updated with
it is,
things, information Jody has, with what,
yes.
Tammy.
the organization.
PA Southwest Legal Services.
Right, things they can do, again, at no cost. I just thought it'd be better if we were up to speed along those lines,
Just in case.
just in
Just
case.
in case.
It saves
Time.
time, I mean, it's not, well,
It'll help you guys understand it better, I agree with you.
Either way.
Either way.
Either way,
Hurt you.
I
it
agree.
doesn't, and information doesn't hurt anything.
Right.
No.
Knowledge is power.
I guarantee there's people in this room that still read that thing or still are confused. There's gray areas that are bad, so I agree.
If
Yeah,
you're
we-
willing to put the time in to gain the knowledge and education to do it, it's a win-win no matter what.
All right, so, are you willing to do it, Connie? All right, Jody and Cedric, Lee, all right, I agree.
Yes.
Well, you're burdened with proceeding with
I'm with
making
Jerry, I'm on
copies.
the fence.
I feel like I know.
Abstain. I think that-
The only cost I see, if it could go the way Tammy said, and we can get, and then things that Jody has to present.
Okay, well, Keith, then we're actually kind of revising your original
Motion.
motion. So. Because now you're saying to send it to, or talk to PA Southwest Legal and send it to them for their review?
Does
Well,
anybody here wants to disagree with that, or?
No, I don't.
No, I'm asking you to just clarify it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, everybody hold on a minute.
Okay.
let me go and see how that jives with what you
I
think.
guess it's the promises. I did.
Like was commenting, the only cost I see is of our time, their time, and if everybody's willing to participate and be informed, then I don't see it as a much of a cost, it's a positive.
And we are doing it in a way that we can get the most input from the residents. At least we're making the attempt to make it above board and as open as we can make it.
Okay, who's seconding the revised motion?
I am.
You wanna read the revised motion?
Sorry, I think I just made it as simple as possible. Revised motion by Small to send current zoning ordinance to PA Southwest Legal for their review. Is that
Okay.
what we're down to, right?
Well,
Is
you
that-
guys are gonna have a meeting too, ain't you, about to talk about it?
Well, after that, but
Well, yeah,
does it-
It
should that be
depends
part
on
of
if
the
they'll come
motion?
here or if they have to go through it there, and
Oh,
then
okay.
they'll send something back.
I
We
think
got,
we'll
we
know
got some
more.
unknowns because you haven't talked to them.
Right, I was just gonna
Right,
say, I think
right.
we'll know more for the next meeting for that.
Yeah, all right.
With the intent of having a training session or whatever the right words would be.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying, I think that'll be determined after we speak with them.
A workshop, for lack of a better term?
With the intent of rezoning in a workshop,
Okay, so you want that in the motion too?
yes. Okay, now read that, please.
Revised motion by Small to send current zoning ordinance to PA Southwest Legal for their review with the intent of having a workshop after their input.
Am I ahead of now?
Art,
Sounds good.
all right, all right.
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Keith, you want the township secretary to forward that to them? You give her the address of where it needs to go. We got extra copies
Well,
of
is
it.
that online? Is it on our website?
We do, but all versions are online. And then make sure we get the right version, but we can also can send
Oh, because I
them,
was gonna say, I could just tell them to access it there, but.
we can send them a, the same copy of it.
Okay, so just basically have Tammy send them
You
the
give her the
motion.
address you want to go to. Yeah, and what, you want to draft a letter to go with it, or whatever you want. And she can send it out.
Did you have
Did
a
you guys
contact,
have, sorry,
do you have a contact
Yes, I
person?
do. I can get that name to Jerry.
Okay.
It's Jamie, but I don't have her last name written down right now.
I mean, I think it, from what you presented, it would, back to not reinventing the wheel, it would make sense to go to the person already is
Correct.
aware
Mhm.
of
Yep,
the
yep.
situation.
That's correct, yeah. I can get that
And free.
name to Jerry. And that's what I said, she was more than willing to talk to me. She said, she said she wishes that more towns would seek this prior to enacting. So,
didn't you guys already have a copy of it,
Copy of what?
the proposed zoning?
Right.
Oh, yeah. We have a couple copies of it, we'll do it to you a couple times.
Whatever fun to send.
I have a couple
They probably ought to have the Donegal Township comprehensive plan to go with it, because it references it.
That's true. Did you get that, Jerry?
Any other comments or questions?
No, I'd say too much.
Jerry, Lee? Any additional comments or questions, because at this point, we've pretty much covered what, yes.
Keith, additionally, probably want to send the master gas ordinance with it, since it also folds into that.
I'm sorry,
The
say again.
master gas ordinance.
The master?
That's the whole basis for the thing started. It's pending ordinance, it's folded into the zoning ordinance. The pending master gas ordinance,
Pending master gas ordinance,
it still has pending status.
which is pending but ties into the zoning ordinance.
Yes,
Why is it pending?
it's got pending status.
Which means,
Ask your attorney.
I asked your attorney and he said that once the zoning
I'm
goes
debating with
in,
you.
I wasn't debating it, but Crooney said that once the zoning goes in, the master gas ordinance goes away.
That's correct, zoning's not in yet.
So why does that?
So why would you
It
send-
folds into it, it's all about gas.
Okay, well, if someone
Well,
on
if
the
it
planning
goes
commission,
away-
can I ask, what does that?
It
Yeah,
becomes
exactly
part
what's
of
the
it.
matter.
It becomes part of
It's
it.
not superseded yet, it's still into effect until the zoning does, so we're
Do
good.
we have a
either
copy
way.
of that? Because I don't think.
I don't know if you do or not.
Seen that.
I don't think so.
But, so right now, like, if it, so it regulates things for the gas. So if someone comes right now, you use.
But it's
that
not
with
enacted,
that.
it's pending, you
It's
said.
pending status.
So does that mean though that a
And the
gas,
pending ordinance doctrine.
does that mean that like a gas company would have to still
Yes.
follow that currently
Yes.
while it's pending?
That's correct.
It's pending.
Well, that's a matter up for debate, because there are several lawyers that have told us that pending, there's no such thing as pending. Either you have an ordinance or you don't have an ordinance.
There is a pending ordinance doctrine.
But it's gone on for a year.
It says it has to be advertised as such, and any applications that would come in during that period would fall under the pending ordinance doctrine, and those provisions would be applicable as long as it remains pending. An ordinance can't remain pending for forever,
Well, because it's been a year.
so, and in terms of the timeframes and when that becomes null and void, that's a question I'm not sure of, but there is a pending ordinance doctrine that says you advertise it as such. Anything that comes in prior to the time of adoption has to follow those regulations.
We don't seem to find where it was advertised as
December
pending.
2015.
That Southwest legal person should know that answer, so we'll just let them go with them.
Well, you're saying it was advertised in December.
It can't just be advertised as an ordinance, it has to be advertised specifically as a pending ordinance, so that everyone is on notice that this is what we intend to adopt, and anything that comes in the interim would follow these regulations. It has to be specifically advertised in that manner. And I don't know whether it was or not.
Is that something that would be in the law library, or is that required to go to the law? I mean, I'm just asking.
It would have had to be sent to the law library. Any ordinance that's advertised has to go to the law library and to the paper publication. So either there or the Observer.
There is no oil and gas one at the law library.
Yeah.
There's no ordinance. There's no pending, there's no ordinance for oil and gas at the law library.
Well, we don't want to follow it, I understand.
What's that?
We have people that don't want to follow it.
Well, no, but
No, we do.
Jody made,
I know.
on behalf of what Jody just said, did the township present it exactly as she said?
I can't tell you that. It was handled by the attorney.
Okay.
And not to look into it.
Again, we're back to what we're saying, there's conflicts of law. If it wasn't done properly, Doug, then it's not acceptable.
Understood. If it's not done properly, we can do it again. That's okay.
Okay, well, we need to at least find out the status of,
If every gas company come in there and wanted to work with us, they asked for it.
Are you gonna be able to determine, or will somebody, for your purposes, determine that by your meeting and?
We'll make a, we'll take that out.
Anything else? Yeah. Yes.
The referendum that you're proposing to reach the John Q. public to vote on this, realize that you can't go by voters, because not everybody votes. You can't go by landowners, because you have out-of-state landowners too that have to be contacted. The landowners in the private housing might be a man and wife. Each one of those gets a vote. Also, you have adult siblings, maybe living in that area or in apartments or whatever.
One proposal.
They have to be
Okay, hold
voted
on.
on.
Before going
Then
into,
you
no,
have
hold
people
it. Stop.
that are
Listen.
adults, that are living
Stop.
parents
Listen.
with the
Time out.
landowners.
One of the,
You've got-
time out,
You've got too many votes going on
time
here.
out,
We would say
You got
that,
it.
yeah.
time out.
This is the logistics that was talking.
One of the issues that was discussed, or at least I personally was thinking about, and see, no, I understand what you're saying, oh, if you're gonna do every little tiny thing. This is not a referendum, first of all, so that you're wrong on. Secondly, a question is not a referendum. It is a simple, single question. I made that clear,
Correct,
so don't start changing my words.
correct. I apologize.
A single question can be sent out to a individual household.
No.
It's a question that we're doing. This is not a referendum to be voted on as electing a new president.
If I
This
say
is a-
yes and my husband says no, how's he gonna answer it?
Larry Spar is gonna answer that question.
What's that?
I said Larry Spar is gonna answer that question when you can talk to the Board of Elections.
But the intent is not a referendum. The intent is a general question to be sent out to all households. We're not gonna track down 50 people who live in Texas, Colorado, and California. It's a simple question to help us make a decision. This is not an official vote, so I guess if you really want to get down and dirty about
Protecting
it,
their
technically, no
property.
matter what the questionnaire comes out to be,
Tony,
it
right?
doesn't change what we may or may not do. It's a question, not a referendum. It's not a vote for or against the fact that it's going to pass or not pass. It's information for us to make a decision. It's a survey, if anything.
Everybody gets to answer that survey though.
Not the way you just presented it.
Yes.
And if we decide it's only gonna go out to individual households, tax-paying households or whatever, then that's the way it's gonna go. This is not an official referendum or a vote for an office or a vote whether it passes or goes down. It's just an information survey. Nothing to do with what you just got done saying. It's simply some information, and we don't have to do it.
No.
Yeah, we do, we just made
Yes,
it.
you do.
I knew it. No, you don't.
Yeah. We know what you meant.
God almighty.
Let's not say, you know what you meant, we make sure it's clear what we're talking about.
The point is, yes, we passed it, yes, we're gonna do it, but it wasn't mandatory. And it's simply an informational tool for us. It's not set up to get every single person who owns a quarter-acre parcel in the township, who may live in Texas or Colorado, whatever. It was just to gather some information, and I never expected, with the idea being presented, that we would get 100% results. No one, I've lived in a lot of different, I've never known of any kind of questionnaire, survey, or whatever other words you want to put it, other than it's not an official vote. That is absolute. But I've never seen one come back 100%. In
Even
fact,
after
you're lucky.
voting.
Statistically, they say
No.
15% is a good response rate.
50.
15.
No,
But
15.
even in the actual vote, you
Statistical.
don't get
It's a
100%.
statistic.
No, it's a question
I mean,
on
that's
an
what
opinion.
those surveys
It's not a
did.
vote. Don't leave here tonight thinking we're gonna send out something for people to vote on. We're sending out a question for an opinion,
A survey.
a survey.
Opinion survey.
Yes, not a vote, not a referendum, none of that.
Well, like I said.
And we're gonna keep it simple, we're not gonna make it complicated. Yes.
It's been done before. West Findlay supervisors done just exactly what you're doing. And they got to vote no, and then they voted no. They didn't have to go through all this process here. It was that simple out there.
They
Oh, the
said-
supervisor did it.
The supervisors done it. It was done at that level and that was it. Now, I talked to the supervisors and I know that they're not lying. They asked the people, instead of putting it on their shoulders, and took a simple little vote, the majority said no, it's no. They voted no then, knocked it down. And then somebody tells me we're the only township that doesn't have zoning. Talked to them and they said, that's bull crap, we don't have it and don't want it.
Which township?
West Finley.
There's three.
Like I said, the best thing is to just talk to Larry. I mean, he's gonna give you the best way to do
Yeah,
it.
good guidance for
He's
that.
very, very helpful with, he was enjoying to talk to.
Yeah.
You gotta stick with
I
that.
mean, is there an issue with what I
No?
just
No,
voted
no,
on?
no.
No, not an issue, I think we should stick what you just said.
As said,
We
an
just got
opinion survey,
Yeah.
not a vote, not a referendum, not, we're gonna be held to the outcome even.
It gives you good consensus.
It's a
of-
non-binding,
Non-binding.
we're getting the right word, non-binding survey,
Exactly.
opinion
Opinion
survey.
poll, opinion survey, whatever.
Keith, I have a question.
Yes.
Then what you're telling me is the planning commission could decide they're not gonna follow the directive. If it's-
No, you're
if the-
using the wrong
if- I'm
words
asking you a
again.
question,
No,
I'm
you're-
asking-
you're switching the words
No,
now.
I'm asking that question. If a vote comes in and.
It's not a vote.
Uh-huh. The
It's
survey.
not a vote,
The survey-
it's not a
the
referendum,
survey
it's
comes in,
not
okay.
a mandate, it's an
Okay.
opinion.
I understand it. If the opinion comes in, whatever it is, plus or minus, I don't even. it doesn't
We
make
can't even begin to predict what.
Well, it doesn't make any difference at that point. What I'm telling you is that the.
What if it came in
the municipality
tied?
planning
What if
comes-
it came in perfectly tied?
Well, that's okay, I don't even care what the results are. The MPC says, planning commission shall do it if the supervisors ask. Shall do it. Now,
Right.
if you're not gonna do it, that's okay too.
Shall do what?
You shall draft a plan.
Shall draft a plan
You're-
for zoning.
You are directed, you have to do it. Unless you just wanna say, no, we're not doing it, that's okay too. But that's, you can take that stance.
But you're saying, you guys said yes, that you're telling him right now, this is what you're telling him,
The
that you
directive,
have
he
to
said.
do it.
If the supervisors tell you to do it, that's what the code says. That's your job to do it. If you don't want to do it, then you.
Who decides whether the zoning has to be done, period?
Right.
The supervisors. Supervisors make that decision.
Didn't you turn that over to them? Wasn't that the whole purpose of the
They're
resolution?
turned over to draft the plan. That language in that resolution is right out of the MPC. Exactly, word for word.
But technically, it says draft, so it should have originated from you, and it should have all come from you.
It don't have to be that ordinance. You can draft their own.
Well, I guess I'm
That's fine.
confused again. Are you telling me that you're saying that you guys got pushed out in court
No,
from the committee
no, we didn't get pushed out.
Yes, you can.
We agreed to a stipulation
to
to
send
not,
it to
to not have the hearing.
to
You
send-
agreed to
That
follow
we
the
go-
law.
We go a different route.
to go a different route?
Yes,
And
we
you would
didn't
give it
say-
to these gentlemen?
No, we didn't tell them that in court.
No, I'm saying your stipulation, you would give
No.
it to them?
No, we decided we would do it a different route.
Okay,
There's other
so this your
options.
different route?
This is
They
the
said
one
they
we
go back
chose.
and do it the right legal way, if you
Right.
recall.
We could have chose a planning committee,
Okay.
okay, or a planning,
Agency.
a planning agency.
Well, wait, let's just
Okay,
stop
but
it there.
no, it could have been planning commission, or it could be a planning department.
Are you wasting these guys' time, is what I'm trying to
No,
figure out?
no, it says here, we shall direct them to do it. That's what the code says. That's
But
what
you're saying you're gonna tell them that you said, I want it
They don't have to
done.
pass it. They don't have to adopt it.
So if they don't pass it, what do you do?
No, they don't have to adopt it.
If they don't adopt it, what do you do? You're saying
Then-
you get another route again?
No, I'm just saying, they have to put together a plan. That's what the code
So
says.
that's what they're.
That's not my language.
But you're saying
That's
that
not
you
my
guys
language.
could wait, could you want a different route?
Yes,
Okay, but you
Yeah.
laid it on these guys.
we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you wasting
So
their
that-
time
no,
and our
no,
time?
because they
or
asked, they said that to do that. They said, turn it back to them.
Turn it back to these
And
guys?
that's what we have done.
Okay, but.
At their request, at their
But do
request.
these guys get to make their mind up, or do you make it up?
They get to draft the ordinance.
Well, you got me kinda confused. Do they get to make their mind up?
Surely.
And if they say no,
They need to draft an ordinance.
okay.
And they can vote no, they could not recommend it, they could do all kinds of things. But they have to draft an ordinance.
All right, so let me, so
Yeah.
if I understand
Right,
what you just
that's what I'm
said.
trying to.
Yeah.
We have to-
Here's my answer. I'm
We,
confused.
so what, you, between the two of you, what I'm gathering is, we have to draft, you're saying we have to draft a zoning ordinance that we could
Just-
technically,
just read-
that we could, as a unanimously vote against it,
Right.
and then give it to you with our negative vote.
That's correct. But read the MPC there, you have it in front of you. I give each of you a copy of it. I had them mailed to you. And that's about a planning code.
John,
Section 607, preparation of proposed zoning ordinance. The text and map of the proposed zoning ordinance, as well as all necessary studies and surveys preliminary thereto, shall be prepared by the planning agency of each municipality upon the request of the governing
But
body.
that says planning agents.
We have been designated as a planning
Yes, we are.
agency for Donegal Township.
That's the thing you want to make clear.
Jerry, can you let, nothing against you, that's, I know you know what you're talking about. Can you let Keith or somebody with a deeper voice so everybody can hear read that, please? Sorry. You know, like, I mean.
Someone needs hearing aids, sorry.
It would be like a sea owl.
Oh, okay.
Preparation of proposed zoning ordinance. The text and map of the proposed zoning ordinance, as well as all necessary studies and surveys preliminary thereto, shall be prepared by the planning agency of each municipality upon request by the governing body. That's not it. I get it.
So you're on track, you're gonna have a survey,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yes, Rush, look like. In preparing a proposed zoning ordinance, the planning agency shall hold at least one public meeting pursuant to public notice and may hold additional public meetings upon such notice as it shall determine to be advisable. C. Upon the completion of its work, the planning agency shall present to the governing body the proposed zoning ordinance, together with the recommendations and explanatory materials. The procedure set forth in this section shall be a condition proceeding to the validity of a zoning ordinance adopted pursuant to this act. If a county planning agency shall have been created, if a planning, let me start that over. If a county planning agency shall have been created for the county in which the municipality adopting the ordinance is located, then at least 45 days prior to the public hearing by local governing body as provided in section 608, the municipality shall submit the proposed ordinance to said county planning agency for recommendations.
Okay. I'd say two things. One, definitely let that other people, that Southwest group, direct you guys, kind of give you an idea, because I'm confused still. And the second question would be to Doug. If they did hit you back, I say, I'm not doing it. Do you guys move forward on your own?
At that point, I don't have a clue. We'll have to talk about it. I don't know. That's hypothetical.
Well, I'm just curious. I mean, I'm gonna make sure that.
I can't commit to this.
I don't think we're spending
We don't have
our
anything to
weeks.
look at.
Well, yeah,
I think
but wait, the supervisors do, we're a recommending body, just as everything else we recommend. So whether we recommend for or against, then it's up to you after that to vote for or against.
Yeah, they can still vote it in whether you guys want it or not.
Right.
That's my question.
They're the elected body, we are only volunteers.
Right.
They're just sending it to you to get it done for the court.
but clearly there's enough
They don't
issues
care
at
what
hand
you
that
do
we
with
need
it.
to go through what we discussed
Wow,
today.
big time, right. I agree.
Jason, the only reason why we're here right now is because they were forced to do it.
I know, right.
It's the only reason why we're here right now.
But I just want to
No, that's not
clarify,
true.
I just want to make sure I clarify between these guys that if this is just a waste of time, I just want to make sure it's not a waste of time for you guys. I just want to make sure if you guys read into it, and you're like you said, you're going to do your
It's
time.
not gonna be a waste of time for them either way, because it's gonna give them knowledge to try to
I
work
agree.
it, to work
And
it.
apparently there's issues that need correcting.
Right.
Yes.
Here's the thing, if they don't prepare it, they can't enact it anyways. It has to be prepared and presented by them.
So
Yeah.
if it
And
stalls,
in that ordinance, is there a
Must
time
be
frame?
prepared by the planning agency.
and if it stalls out,
Correct.
it's done.
Drag on another year.
They still
Well,
have to prepare it.
And there's no time limit on that.
No.
No.
Correct. So they still need to go through it and
Let's
go
go.
through it and make sure, and like I said, so what they're doing is probably the most proper way to do this and the most, having everybody informed.
I second that.
So,
Because if you take it as it's presented to you, you gotta vote. If it's, okay, we are, what was the word?
And then like what Tony said, of understanding.
If I hand you a directive to do this, and it's as is, then you gotta vote no, because clearly there's enough problems and issues. Jody found some. Tammy pointed out that, you know, there's contradiction with federal law. I don't think you want to put yourself in that position.
But all we have to do is rewrite the ordinance to be in agreement.
They're gonna tell you that.
Yeah.
Right.
We're spinning here, we'll win.
Right. I just wanted to clarify from my own head so I could understand a little better, so, sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
No, that's.
I just wasn't sure how it was really going there, I kinda lost my.
That's all right, I'm sitting here, I'm not sure either, so.
So really, from what you said about the idea of a survey for understanding of where the people are, that will help you to how that you start to apply the pieces of zoning that would be needed for the problems that we have to address.
Yeah? That sounds.
Yeah, I don't think it's a waste of time, it's that simple.
And here's the thing with the survey, I don't know how many people you guys talk to on a daily basis. I talk to a lot of people. I mean, I did, you know, I set up a stand and at the fair, and I talked to a lot of folks that come in through there, and a lot of folks come up and talk to me about planning and zoning. A lot of people don't even know at this point that we're working on planning and zoning.
The problem Lee, is there's things that need to be, if you read that, the zoning ordinance as it is, there's things in there that the town needs that the people outside don't need. You know what I mean? Or want. And they're contradicting, and I think that's a lot of the things that could be ironed out that would.
What I'm saying is, the survey that we're about to send out, a lot of people are gonna read it and say, what the hell is this? Because they don't even know.
Well, Lee, to my point, if you recall, when I proposed that at the last meeting, was to make it more than one question, simple, not complicated, but if you recall how I presented, you could have like three or four questions, whatever it was, are you aware? Do you have knowledge of zoning? Are you aware that the township is trying to enact zoning? Do you have information, either access, you know, because the people that don't come, access to the website. That's why we are also trying to get them to put everything on the website.
A qualified
so they can-
statement could be made with the question.
Yeah, to get them
everybody has
informed,
a
you know what I mean?
Yeah, with one question.
And that's why I said
Right,
before,
right,
against,
right.
or indifferent.